comment. It's in the kitchen. One sec. All right. Thank you very much for your patience. So, welcome in, everybody. Big day today. We have to pay attention. I know we have the quantitative easing starting today, but we still have to pay attention and make sure that the death cross in Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum across the board gets invalidated before we start to get super excited. I keep my cautionary standpoint, but optimistic nonetheless. I want to see if we do have some kind of drop this morning and see where it ends up. One key market configuration, as I started out and just said Fed QE starts, XRP and Bitcoin death cross warnings, gold and silver surge, signals market shift. So all I mean by that is we have to pay attention to obviously the death cross to see if it plays out, because it would suggest that it should on Bitcoin, unless we get a bullish reversal here and we get a nice little surge up. The unfortunate part about this live is it's not sharing it. My morning update didn't share after it initially got released for a little while. My live from last night, they didn't share it with my audience until 6 o'clock this morning. So I literally put a live out last night and it didn't get uploaded to YouTube for anybody to see it searchable until 7 o'clock almost this morning, which is just super, super destructive for what I'm trying to do, because obviously the way I put content out, it's more of an in-the-moment thing. But at least some of you were able to see it. I like that the short this morning has, I don't know, 800 views or so. And this live, hopefully, will get enough attention from some of the viewers to where you guys will take an interest. It's a very important day, so I think a lot of people need to be a part of this. So we'll just shoot for the stars here. I'm going to share it myself as well. But I just want to make sure, while everybody's overlooking the fact that this pattern is still in a pattern, and everybody's getting excited because of what's going on with quantitative easing, which I'm excited too. I just remember last March, it took about anywhere from 9 to 11 weeks for us, or 10 to 12 weeks, something like that, to where we actually got the bullish momentum we were looking for. We talked about a steal yesterday if you were looking to buy support, sell resistance, which was XDC, because it was a day behind. So we'll go over that. It's up about 5% today. So is that leading the charge, or is it just catching up from yesterday's price action? That's the question we always have. So we'll just have to see the universal market, because if the universal market's reversing, XDC's, well, first we're going to probably consolidate to the 20-day in the short time. So we'll watch it as we go along this morning and see if it maintains that 508 structure. We're within a pattern consolidation, so it's warranted that I would start here for a quick second. We're in the short term 4.7 at the bottom. Since it held the support down here at 4.71, so you buy support, sell resistance, buy support, sell resistance, buy support, sell resistance, until the pattern breaks out or breaks down. So now if you're looking and you haven't bought in on XDC yet, you're looking for this pattern to break past 519 and then back test appropriately, and you'd buy like the 512, whatever the case may be. Or you wait for it to come down to 4.7. Right now, once again, if you're not in the position, you're in no man's land. So we need to see if it breaks out of the short-term consolidation and pushes 5.8, because that would present an opportunity from around the 519 down to the 517 probably area on a back test all the way out to 5.86. Or we're going to have to continue this mind-numbing consolidation, and it would come back to 4.7. So we'll see what the broader market has in store. I'm a little nervous this morning because everybody's expecting a big breakout, to be honest with you. I'm more in the let's see what happens, especially when we get these signals from like gold. Like, I don't know if anybody's paying attention to the gold and silver market this morning. But I mean, we should get some volatility towards, I mean, we've got to have some kind of come back to reality moment here. But as of right now, gold's up $60 plus this morning, which is bizarre. Not bizarre, but when gold's up like that, gold's not really up. You see the problem here. That's just the US dollar being devalued. So Gold hasn't gained anything. That's just our purchasing power continues to go down. But now we'll see if we really are going into a double top area. Gold's got to come up just a little bit farther, 4,380-ish. And then we'll see. You know, we'll see if we double top. If we create a breakout potential. It's going to be very interesting here. I mean, to say the least, this is going to be very interesting. We broke out of this pattern. And technically, I used it from this area, but we never broke back down anywhere. So, I mean, you could measure it from where it actually broke out. I liked it over here because you technically had this pullback, so you could use this area. But still, even that gives you a elevated target from here. So we're going to see how gold and silver reacts today as the day goes on, but it's definitely starting out hot with quantitative easing. But we'll see. We'll see. It's been pushing so hard. Silver's over 64 right now. So this is a direct correlation with what's going on with risk on and risk off. So we need to see if this sells off and allows us the ability to rise a little bit here in risk assets. Risk assets, though, after an arbitrary push up, now all of a sudden, as the morning, how convenient, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. The U.S. typically, if it's going to consolidate down, does it. It gives that false allure. So we'll see. I'm very anxious to see how this plays out this morning. I am very anxious to see how this plays out. I think we're in a, I don't want to say a make it or break it moment for the short term, because I think if we could break it here and actually fill out that death cross, oh, it would warrant such a big move. But we haven't been able to do it yet. We haven't been able to. We had the 20, and this is what I keep warning about in the titles. I warn about, and like just when you come into the live, just so if it does happen, it doesn't catch us by it doesn't catch us by surprise. I don't want to be caught by surprise if this happens, but I want to be aware that this can happen. So the 20 exponential moving average, 20 cross the 50, that's a bearish cross. Some people only use the 50, 100, 200, so they have to wait another 30 days or so as far as the indicator from the 50 days, so it takes longer. Well, not only did the 20 cross the 50, well, as you came across here, the 20 cross the 200, the 50 cross the 200, which now instead of being a signal, like, hey, wake up, there's a signal that we could flip bearish. Now you've got validation here that, hey, we need to pay attention. We need to pay attention. 50 cross the 200, that's not good. A 100% pattern reversal would be a 100 crosses the 200, and then we continuously get rejected by the 20-day every time we try to come back up until eventually we have the death cross drop as warranted. And in this case, it would probably be a meltdown to the October 10th low. And that's what I'm trying to see if it happens, this clear out to October 10th. So that's where we're at right now. So that's your confirmation that we actually have to be on high alert. So until we invalidate this thesis, we have to be on high alert. Now, the thing is that is very tricky is the fact that if we go down and exhaust that, I'm just saying, if we exhaust that wick, it does present another problem. Let's just say we exhaust the wick. I mean, that will bring you well down below what we think is a megaphone pattern. So maybe we don't come down and exhaust the wick, but what ends up happening here is over the next series of a few days, maybe let's say we get into Monday. What if on Monday, December 22nd, we were down at $1.75? You know, what if? Maybe. And we come down to the bottom of this bullish megaphone, or $1.74. You can play it farther out, but I'm trying to see what would happen if we are, if we go a little bearish on the weekend. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen because I don't know how quickly everybody's going to buy into this with the quantitative easing. But make no mistake about it. This is a $40 billion injection, and they're buying treasury bills or treasury bonds, whatever you want to call it, the T-bill. But that's going to end up pushing itself. They're going to put it into the mortgages and or the repo markets and the reverse. It's just going to cause a big mess. It's not by accident gold surged today the way it is. And it's not by accident that risk assets have come out a little sloppy this morning. So we got to see how sloppy this can get, because this is This is going to be the wool if it happens, what I was talking about yesterday. I'm not excited yesterday or today. I want to see if there's an initial pull down. But we knew if there was going to be an opportunity because of where XDC is a day behind, it's a good way to look at it where it was at support. So if anybody wanted a structural buy, that was there yesterday. But now we need to really pay attention to what the rest of the market's doing, because being a day behind, that means today, towards the end of the day, if it follows the structure of the others from yesterday, remember with XRP and some of the others, yesterday, if you look coming out of the, well, that's back there. I need to get into the smaller time frame. But coming out of the weekend and then coming into midweek, we tried to bounce a little bit, remember. We came from down here on Thursday, had a little bit of a push up to 204, and now we see if this is where the market corrects back down. I mean, that's the big deal, because right now XDC's basically done the Thursday move of XRP. See, this is XDC, except it waited until Friday. So now if on Friday XRP dumps down, that means on Saturday's candle, or when it flips at 8 p.m., you'd have to suspect. So we need to pay attention to this. We need to pay attention, because there's a lot of variables. I know QE is sexy. I do. I know rate cuts are nice, but 25 basis point doesn't even move the needle when it's baked in risk assets. But coupled with QE is good. We know historically, anywhere, at least in recent memory, it's taken anywhere from 10 to 12, well, let's just say 8 to 12 weeks for the markets to feel the impact of quantitative easing. How do I not have my water? I am living in bizarre world today. I can't remember anything. Now, I will cut myself slack, though. I've already done an hour and 10-minute workout. I've walked almost 5,000 steps this morning. I think it's 4,995 after that small walk. So, and I've got, I don't know if I'm going to get interrupted during this live, but I got them coming to replace my washer and dryer. My washer with the $17 part and doing it myself, I fixed. But the dryer, they had serious damage on the top to where it's bolted down on the top. On the back side of it, it's being pulled out, the metal. So you can reach your hand inside the top where it's supposed to be, you know, bolted down. You could actually put your hand inside of it, which is not safe. So they're coming and replacing it. Let's see. I seen some that continued in Tom's Army. Miss Jan, this is a huge milestone. Now has 4 years plus in Tom's Army with the XRP Phoenix badge. Next year I'll be releasing the 5-year badge when we get to our 5th year. Because after you get first month, second month, third month, 6th month, 1 year, and then it's every year after. You get an anniversary badge that you're allowed to add. So, very cool to see that. And thank you, Jan, so much. I hope you like the Phoenix badge. The Cannabis Podcast, thanks for being a member for 10 plus months with the XRP Predictor. Something we've been talking about is making the news today. You've been talking about it more, but I tried to bring it up and hear about the rescheduling of cannabis. That's becoming news now. I don't know if it's going to happen, but I'm telling you guys, something ain't right here. This feels like Trap Central, only because gold like when I woke up and seen gold was up $47, I'm like, oh boy. Then it got up to 70. I'm like, uh-oh. Now a consolidation will bring you to 45.50. If it holds that consolidation anywhere above $40 an ounce today, I keep saying I am very appreciative that gold and silver is going up. I built my own central bank, just like some of you have. And that consists of having US dollars, which is shit, but you have to have cash on hand. You have to have some liquidity in a bank account, but I never go over $2,000, which makes me feel poor at all times. But I don't trust the bank. You have to have, I believe, you have to tackle 2 different key markets too. You need to tackle not just the precious metals market, but you need to tackle emerging markets. You need to attack mining stocks because they get the gold and silver out of the ground. So the more the price goes up, or the higher the price, the more value comes to these miners. And then crypto is also one part of it. But remember, it's extra volatile. So I don't recommend putting it into a retirement. Some people do. I don't, because it's not a store of value. You only want retirement to be something that you can guarantee is a store of value, or something that year over year, based on economic environments and, you know, things that are happening worldwide, that you can have a safe, like emerging markets in mid to late 26 should be their most parabolic. And I'm up on average 22% over the last 2 years in my emerging markets, as I've shared. I don't know if it's gone up or down in the last couple of days. I haven't been paying attention. Yeah, I mean, let's go to the emerging markets page. Not pretty even. Nothing really changed much. So, oil's down to 57.35 a barrel, and I would expect that to continue because they keep pushing that, hey, look how cheap oil is in the U.S. and things like that. But why I say things don't feel right is it feels like gold and silver, with how high it pushed up, maybe it is going to pull down here real quick, and then it's going to have a capital flip. That's what we need to know. We need to know if we're going to get some kind of flip here. But if we do get a flip, it would mean that we're going to get a drop probably for liquidity, and then we'll get a universal flip. But I don't know, man. When everybody's thinking the same thing, like the market's going to go up because of QE, it kind of seems like it would be the perfect opportunity to start it hot and then kind of consolidate. Quant's making a push up, but in the 4-hourly, it's already had the verifiable death cross, and now we're seeing if we get a rejected here or if we can push out. These are the first steps of trying to correct here. So we're going to see how it happens, or if it happens at all, but at least we're going to do it together, because yes, you have to at least be knowing of the death cross and the scenarios that have played out so far. You know, Quant's in an interesting predicament here, because it hasn't had out of the death cross. It's tried to mislead us back out of it, but it's still well within that death cross pattern, and we need to see. It's either we're going to break out here, and these are inverse patterns that are ready to break out nice, or we're coming down to liquidity hunt, the wick from October 10th. I don't really see it any other way. I like that the daily's so oversold. Monthly's got a ways to come back down. Weekly makes me a bit complex when it comes to quant, because a lot of the rest of the crypto is the weeklies are so massively oversold that now makes me think quant's not even the best. It's not even in the same playing field as some of these other ones that have just dumped out. Look at SHX. It had a small move, and this is another one yesterday we said will be a big key indicator of what's to come, because it was already on the bottom side trying to revalidate this pattern to come back up. But as of right now, every time it hits this, it keeps coming back down. So this needs to either get back in the pattern, or we have these little bearish setups that could fall down and push us to the lower support. I'm telling you right now, if we push to that lower support and you have capital on the sidelines, I would pay attention very closely to make a purchase there if we pull down here. I'm just saying, if we pull down here, I would definitely pay attention to this next pull down. Now, I'm not a financial advisor, so I can't tell you exactly what to do. I can tell you my feelings and what I'm thinking. But, you know, you have to make that decision. But I'm telling you, me personally, with the cash on hand I have, if we make a pull down here when everybody's expecting a pull up, I'm going to advance my positioning in a big way. This would be my own personal indicator, but I need to see if gold and silver falls out here, like I said when I started this live. Because I would not be surprised if that happens, because we had a big spike up. So we need to see some kind of big consolidation here across the board, with gold at least. And we'll see if that layers into the risk on or not. Because that could be a capital flip. That's what gets me excited a little bit. But I also know with capital flips, a lot of time you have these quick surges down as you reroute yourself. So who knows? Maybe this is where it's going to happen. So we can be optimistic. I don't think I did the intro yet this morning. So good morning. 10:19 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Friday, December 12th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So, with XRP, the best way to put this is if this is going to tap this pattern. I don't know if that's the objective here because you do have a sneaky inverse pattern here. But you, in theory, could come down to $1.99 and not ruin anything structurally. So there is that. If we want to try to make an inverse setup here, I mean, it's tricky right now. I feel like the pattern's hunting mass liquidity. So it's a very tricky proposition. Like, I wish it was easier than this. I do, but it's not. Because when everything points one way, it usually goes the other. And everything was pointing with, everything was pointing to the up direction when we woke up this morning, right? Everything with quantitative easing, with the third straight rate cut of 1/4 basis point. But then you wake up and everything's looking good. We're in the green. And all of a sudden in the last like hour or so, not even, it's like it can change the narrative so quickly once the U.S. wakes up. And it's like even if you just look at XRP, and that doesn't mean this can't reverse very quickly here. But when we're just kind of getting our bearings together this morning, 8 a.m., XRP's up here at 2:04. We get to the office, and it's not a bad thing. But when you get there and you see it go from 2:04, 60 or 70 or 80 or 2:05, and then it's at 2:02.50, you sit there and you go, well, wait a minute. When I was driving to work, everything was up. You've seen Bitcoin this morning driving to work. You're over this Mendoza line at 92,450. You got up probably on your drive to work. You're around 92,700-ish. You get to work and now you're looking here, wait a minute, 91,768. What the hell is going on? That's just, so this could be that mind-bending moment where they're really messing with us. And they actually made it obvious that it was going to reverse because that's a topping reversal. Like, this is what scares me with Ethereum. I've been being honest with it, but we're going to be even more honest today. Look what it built. It came up and it built this to a topping reversal. And now it's all about, that's why I say we're in a make it or break it formation. If this comes down and invalidates this shoulder and it comes down and it proves that this is a head and shoulders, a topping reversal, I mean, there's not much left but to say that I'm thinking we're probably going to come all the way down here. And quantitative easing, yes, starting, but by the time it finds itself in the crypto, because they're going to want the best deal in my opinion. So go through the T-bills first. And then, I mean, if you were the government and the central banks, more precisely, the controllers of all governments in each individual country that has a central bank. The Fed is our central bank, so we have a central bank. I don't think they want to buy it when it's more expensive. I think they like to buy and piss us off. Hey guys, quantitative easing, get ready, get your money out of the bank, start buying it. Just to pull it down 10%, and then they're like, ooh, this is a nice deal. Look at that liquidity drop. Not saying it's going to happen, but that's what I picture them in the back room. That's why I think this morning, like, ooh, everybody thinks it's going to go up, down. But that doesn't mean emotionally you have to become unstable. That just means we've got to try to stay with the game. I've got my hand on the pulse for a buy with algo when it gives me that right positioning, but I couldn't buy these when I thought they were on a bear flag. They got to prove it to me that they're not on a bear flag. And obviously this expanded a little bit, or I didn't have it exactly, but look, it's fallen out almost perfectly. And if that bear flag plays out, I have no doubt in my mind, and I don't know if it's going to play out, but if it does play out, because I'm not trying to make a prediction, I don't want to force anybody's hand, I don't want to make you feel some kind of way, because even yesterday I said, while at the same time saying that this could go down, that XTC was in a great spot, because it's a day behind. So 11.8 cents. If this plays down out of the bear flag, let's see the bear flag target after the breakdown. I mean, it puts it well within range. Well within range. And I'll teach you all about this deeper and deeper and deeper and more precisely when we get into classes. And that's not nothing to do with YouTube and Telegram or anything else you see me do on social media. That's just something you hear about because I'm on social media. It's a venture that I've been working on for a long time. And I've had to make a real fine decision here. Do I become an analyst? Do I become some kind of advisor? Do I work? I've gotten interest from Charles Schwab and JP Morgan to work in their facility. They need people who can do charting so that they can manipulate other people. Let's just put it that way. This is the consensus rug pull that I pull with my own heartstrings. If I do this, I will be able to give them the perfect data for them to rug pull every single one of their clients, because I could get their clients in at the perfect time when we have these artificial push-ups, and you know I could. And then I would just be like, oh, we didn't see the drop coming kind of thing. So Tom's Army would have an insider to the naked eye, but when you have to sign non-disclosure agreements and things like that, there's certain things you can't talk about. So I can't put out information that would be contrary to my positioning that I signed a contract for in these institutions, because they're not going to want me to say the market's going to crash if I'm telling everybody to buy an asset as a manager. Think about it. Or as a, an analyst, so to say, or somebody who gives them their data so that they can feed to their sellers. Or I could be the ultimate seller of bullshit, because I know this deeper than anybody. I don't try to toot my own horn, but, not a lot of people are wise to the fact that you can read markets based on crypto, the stocks, the commodities, the precious metals, the emerging markets. You can pretty much dictate the news that's coming. So the news to me was, the only news to me today was that we should probably crash when everybody thought we were going to rise. You should see the narrative across social media. Carl, you can keep your mouth shut. That's the spirit. And thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So band. So I'm just going to do it myself. I'm going to be an independent teacher of knowledge. So, and it's going to start with the most basic fundamentals of trading, and I'm going to teach you exactly what an advisor won't. I'm going to teach you exactly what you could pay million or hundreds of thousands, six figures worth in the school. I'm going to teach you all of it. Over 8 months, or what is it? What did I come up with? It's going to be a lot more than this, but the projection would be, what is it? 4 months. Yeah, that's right. 32 classes, which would be 8 hours a month. That means there's 32 hours of classroom. Oh, yeah, it's going to be great. I can't wait to do this. I'm going to be able to be 100% authentic, which I try to be, but I won't have to hide behind anything. And, yeah, you're going to get a real whiteboard experience. If you ever wanted to know what I was like as a teacher, you'll be able to see. But yeah, I've come up with the framework, and it's going to end up starting probably early January, but I'm going to have a sign-up sheet that's going to go around soon. I mean, in the Telegram, you can already kind of see it. But it's only going to be during the sign-up and just like a normal class. Once the sign-up period's over, it's over. And then you got to wait for the next class sign-up. Because I can't have more people than what starts in the class, because it's all based on the weakest link mentality. So just like in much of my other... So I believe in you're only as strong as the weakest link. So that means that you could be in a lesson plan, even though it's lesson 1. In theory, you could be in that lesson for 4 weeks in a row. And some people will drop out because it's going too slow. And yeah, there's a price tag on it. It's like $5 and something cents per class. So every month it's like, I don't know, $50 possibly. Some people said I should do 100, but I think that's a little too steep personally, but I don't know. Some people said to do 500 so we had less people, but that's way too steep. Some people said a lot more, which I thought was just kind of greedy. But anyhow, it's neither here nor there. And the reason I'm doing it to end this conversation so we can get back into this is because I have to work for my son. He's 6. He's special needs, autistic. He's nonverbal. He had a very serious car accident when he was 3 months old. Broke his femur, had head trauma, and he deals with a lot of stuff. He has a G-tube to feed him through his stomach. He does eat some by mouth, like snacking and stuff, and he drinks only water by mouth. But there's a lot of stuff he deals with, so I just figured it's either I was going to get a second job because I want to work for him, or I don't even consider this a job, but let's be honest. When you're doing this kind of stuff, I need to have a side fund for him that's kind of set up differently. So I'm going to do his 40 hours a week for him for the next 20 years so that he's got a big safety net. That's what I'm doing. So anyhow, that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. So if you're interested in joining that venture, and it'll go towards a good cause to my son, believe it. Uh-oh. See what happens here. This is kind of what I was expecting. I didn't sugarcoat it when I started this live, what I was expecting. Because I haven't done anything. I didn't buy anything. I'm just kind of sitting here. Um, so he doesn't eat nothing by mouth. None of, I mean, some stuff might have wheat in it. I don't know. But he doesn't drink milk by mouth or none of that. But he gets like a formula base that he takes. But then we give him vitamins that are herbal, made from real herbal extracts from the actual leaves and the actual herbs. The doctors tried to give him what's called Poly V, and it turns out that's all a chemical base nutrient. Hold on, my Julie's mom's here. I mean, I'm just doing my dive. I'll tell you what you're doing. So, like, I switched for my son from the Poly V, which is all chemical makeup, and I ended up switching to this. I'm not promoting it, but this is all from real herbs. It's not chemical extracts, so look up this company. I can't tell you to do it, but if you have needs for your kids and stuff like that, and it's a powder, so it can go through his tube, and it mixes nice. So it's powder, crystalline, whatever. So that's what we did, and it's helped out tremendously. But now we're getting this little bit of a pullback here, so this is what we want to see. I've been very clear. We must get this pullback first if we want this to do what we need it to do. And look, I even talked about gold, silver, and all that pulling back with this. So, this could be a very interesting moment here heading into the weekend. Now, for gold and silver, it could just be trying to validate a further push out. But this is going to be interesting this morning. I promise you, this is going to be a very interesting tug. Now, if crypto does what we need it to do, and we do fall out here, we are asking XRP to come down to $1.85. We are asking XDC to get rejected here at the resistance and then try to hold firm around here or come back to 4.7. We're asking this market like H-bar because I will be interested on this next drop with H-bar. If we fill out these liquidity wicks, I will be full-blown back in H-bar. So I'm just saying if we have this next big drop, there's some things that I am very excited about. Bright Future Freedom, thanks. Oh, how do we sign up? Let me take a look at something Defined had put so that I don't mess this up, and I'll do it on my phone and look. Because Defined came up with a good plan. So if you're on the Telegram, and I know Define created something, I just want to make sure that it's all set up before I talk about it. Okay, so it should show it on here somewhere. Because there's Define created a section. At least I thought he did. Unless it's not up there yet. Let me take a look at something real quick. Right here. So if you're in the Telegram and you're interested, just so I can get kind of a baseline of in the Telegram, you can click on here. It's XRP Future Millionaire University created. I think it's pretty cool. However, I live in the Netherlands and I'm curious when these sessions will take place. Tom previously mentioned 8 p.m. That's middle of the night. It might not be that late. Like, that's what I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do the class while my son's in school. And that would put it somewhere around 12 or 1 p.m. twice a week. That might be the way to go, but then some people in the USA are going to be, at work. So I don't know the exact time, but either way, I'm gonna, on YouTube, I'm already starting to realize that 2 lives a day they're not pushing out until the morning. So if you're on here, go to XRP University, Future Millionaire University. If you're in the Telegram, put a note. My mom's calling, so I got to answer this. Hello?
Hey, baby.
Hi, Mom.
I was just calling.
Yeah, he went through some stuff. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, he's good. He went to school. I'm just doing my live, how you called in my live. But that's okay, Mom. He went to Santa shop yesterday. And well, Michaela was at the school because she was volunteering because she's off of that from Western's honors program until the new year because she finished her first half. She finished exams. And she was volunteering at the school, and T got to leave his class with her, and he was in there all by himself shopping with her. No para, no nothing, no teacher. He was just with his sister. She called us and sent pictures. It was so cute. So, no, you should see him. We have this picture thing in the living room that changes the pictures. And he went to your picture from when we were on vacation at Julie's grandma's old house when you were on the, by the water. He kept flipping back to that picture of you and him. Yeah. Yeah, I got my washer and dryer they're replacing because the one had damage, so I called them and they're replacing it today. It's coming out. The dryer top was pulled off the top. Like, you could reach your hand through the top of the dryer, which is not safe. Yep. It's coming out today between 10 and 2. Yeah. Well, T would love to see you. Sounds good, Mom. Just let me know. All right. Okay, sounds good. Yep. All right, Mom. Love you. I'll call you later. I will. Bye. Okay. We see a little bit of movement here to the downside, which I think was anticipated because, look, even if we were going to hold this support structure, we talked about when I first came on the live, 199.77 would be appropriate, but if it loses that, that's when you really got to pay it. We've always got to pay attention, though, because we have this death cross. I mean, my title, I was not trying to scare people, but it's the truth. There's some things that are lining up, so we need to see if this is just that pull down to 199.7 and then we can ride out, because that is a possibility. This is a possibility, a quick sudden shake. But this, this could be the start of the breakdown. And then now we have to pay attention to see if gold is just back testing the move and silver had a real big pull down there. Is this the start of just a back test, or is this something more? Silver could technically now come back. I drew it out to 58.61 to back test. So we need to see if we're going to continue down. Like USDT pushing up 2% is not a great sign because that means more people are putting their money in stable coins. And I still believe if this breaks out here, and I know it's in a positioning, if we can get over this resistance at any time at 6.8, I believe we're going to come up near 8%. We do have an inverse pattern down below, and a cup and handle now it's crazy what's building right there. So we'll see if a lot of money goes into the dominant side. Right now we've got, all of a sudden, L goes down 3.21% after being up this morning. We've got IOTA down after being up about almost 2% this morning, now down 2.17, fell below 10 cents. We've got Ethereum, which was up this morning, crossed 32.50. Now it's down 3.56%. Oof. We've got Bitcoin, which was up this morning, now down 2.1%. Down almost $2,000 on the day. Getting very close to that 90,000 level again, 90,595. XRP's market cap's dumped about 1.84 billion this morning, or down 1.49%. We've got the XRP price which is reversed a little bit, but it's held on to 199.7 so far. But that's the Mendoza line, so we'll see how we react. You know, we're down now 1.5% on the morning, about 3 cents. We've got XLM down 2.5%, losing almost 6.5, well, almost 0.6 of a cent, but it brings it down under 24 cents right now. XDC's reversing the morning gains so far, as now it's only up 3.5%. We had a nice push up to resistance, so now we'll see if it can hold on, but the broader market's going to dictate the response you get out of XDC. We've got V-Chain down 3.15% after putting on a gain earlier this morning. And H-Bar's down better than 3.5%. Had a small gain. A lot of them had a small gain, and now it's down to 12.5%. But we are in this make it or break it fundamental setup. Linear was up about 7% at its peak, I believe it was. It was up over 0.08 and some change. Can't remember how high it got. But overnight when I woke up, I seen, yeah, it was up to 0.0814, so maybe not 7.65. But now it's pulled back down that entire gain plus some. The anomaly right now would be XDC and Quant, but they both could be just retesting. And then for Quant in particular, that death cross, in a very big way, there was no volume, and it's coming up to retest the rejection point for a further death cross in the 4-hourly to play out. So this could be very ugly for Quant. If it breaks this support structure, Quant has no choice but to probably come down to $70 at minimum, and that's if it breaks 79.24. So at least built itself a little leeway. For Band, if it does break through this setup, it's already got rejected. You're talking about wick hunting on the liquidity wick from October 10th down at 32.7. We'll put this out here just for future reference, so I don't always have to go back and, you know, show further detail. I can just be like, this is where it needs to come down to. So we'll say it makes a new low in this case, and we'll come down to, like, I don't know, 318, let's say. So that's where I think we'd be hunting, if not worse, because we've already created. Here's the problem here with Band. It created this descending consolidation. Assume for a minute that this pattern, when it was consolidating like this, ended up failing. I mean, this could technically send it down into the shitter. You could theoretically send this down in a, well, I mean, you want to talk about for real? Get rid of this. Get rid of the micro where we needed it to move. What if this entire descending pattern is just breaking down? You know what this would do to the price? I don't even know if it can do this to the price action. So we'd have to measure it from in here, because it did break out and come back within. So then we could remeasure it and just say, oh, well, this is technically the, I mean, this could get freaking. There's no way to even really measure this. You have to take the smaller minute level like I was. But that only gets it to like 10 cents or so. It can get, I don't know, this would be a big failure right now. I can tell you that much. 10 cents is remarkably accurate, actually, if this doesn't play out. Ooh, this could get ugly. I don't know. But if we hold here, we're fine. See, that's the caveat. But we have to keep asking ourselves the question, is the Fed, with quantitative easing, yes, it goes into T-bills first, but are they just going to buy crypto at the prices they were at, or do you think they would have a market-wide drop and then they can spend that collateral? It's a scary proclamation right now. And the fact that it's showing 2.22% right in front of us with USDT, well, I said that entire thing, is like, hey, just pay attention to what you're saying. Now all of a sudden the total is down better than 2%. We're getting close to the Mendoza line here, folks. Sometimes it irritates me, though, because I have to come on and then people, you know, I like some of the comments. I don't really know who Crude Coin Foundation is. Is that somebody else's name that it switched it now this morning? Or is this somebody newer to the audience? Because I love whoever this person is. I freaking love. You know why? They didn't bite their tongue. And they're talking about no volume. The fact that retail's morons. The fact that they acknowledge that they understand that Japan's raising rates, which is going to put a direct correlation on the US dollar tanking. I don't know who this person is. I know I've seen you before, but I feel, did your name change on me? Like what was your name before? Or are you just a newer person? I know you, but I'm trying to see if what was your name before it was Crude Coin Foundation on YouTube? Was it a different name? Industry. Okay. That makes more sense. That makes more sense. Okay. Dude, you're on the money. You are on the money, my friend. Bye, Mimi. You already leaving?
Well, I'm gonna go shopping.
Oh, okay. Well, be safe.
Thanks so much for my nap.
Well, now you can go back. It's only
I don't
10:45.
know if I can go to sleep.
When I seen her walk, I went, dude, not gonna be happy. Dude's tired. It's funny, every time you try to take a nap when teasing school, your mom
It
comes.
was always at the point where I'm like sleeping, like literally.
It seems that way. It definitely seems that way. Well, we'll see, guys. We'll see right now. Like, we're in this in real time. Ethereum's down 4% now. When I started the live, I talked about where I thought Ethereum was coming on a back trace. We've got... I just tried to keep it real. Frankie Fresh, yes, the back and forth is going to irritate you, but what have I said? Trading, no. Let it go. Remember I said let it play out. And then we can always use our capital that we have to the side from all of, because a lot of us are liquidated in a lot of ways. But it's just, you got to go against the grain, guys. I can't explain it enough. Everybody was expecting a pump today. There's zero chance it was going to pump out the gate. It couldn't. Just like everybody's expecting gold and silver to just fall apart. It can't happen yet. Like, we're watching our mining stocks go out of oblivion. And yeah, there's going to be corrections here. We had a 30% correction on mining stocks 2 months ago, roughly. And they retook it. Look at it. I mean, Bitcoin, Ethereum, risk assets. We better hope to God this actually holds. If you're heavily invested. Because if this doesn't hold, this is where you get that quick 15, 20% drop across the board. Like, well, maybe 10%. Because we already had a drop before. But if you can hold, this is where you can get some liquidity hunts. But it's a big if at this point. That's a big if. I would not be surprised. Oh, it already happened. The NASDAQ had a little bit of a gainer going on. Now it's down 244 points, or 1.03%. S&P's down 40 points, or almost 0.6%. The Dow was up it was way up to start the morning, and now it's barely up. Oh no, that was yesterday. You would suspect this would start to reverse as well. I forgot yesterday was a 600-point gainer. But the NASDAQ was telling us everything we needed to see yesterday, like something ain't right. They can keep pumping the Dow up, but that doesn't help us in crypto. Oh, that was a very important back test for gold and silver if it can hold it just to push farther up. We'll see if we can grab the liquidity here. But right now, remember the drop where it started? Now we're going to come back up and see if we retest the rejection point. Absolutely. Absolutely, John, people really should stock up on essential foods, things that can last. It's getting nerve-wracking out here, though, I must admit. Retail market is full of sentimental baits. People don't really look at volume and geopolitical war since the Bank of Japan raised interest rate. Crypto market is down until late. I mean, there's definitely the narrative that's coming. But remember, at some point when the liquidity comes so much, you're going to have that parabolic spike. But like I've told everybody, It's not the parabolic spike everybody keeps thinking. It's not going to bring everything up to infinity. The parabolic spike's going to be 90% down from when everybody was buying the dip. And then that parabolic spike could be a 10x for somebody, but it might not even get somebody who bought it this year within 30% of their buy-in. Put that in your pipe and smoke it when you think about all of this. Think about it. When we bought XRP at 34 cents and then 38 and unloaded it from the 38 point standpoint, and we could be up 10x while somebody was still underwater. That's where we're going again. I've been preaching this entire year. Don't buy the dip that's not the dip. Because it's going to be a hard learning lesson for some of you that I learned a long time ago. Just because something's down 50% from the top, you have to go farther back and see where that rally started. So yeah, XRP's down. Well, I mean, let's look at it from the top now. But then you have to look from where it started. See, this is where you get two different agendas from people who tell you the truth on technical analysis and people that are trying to steal your money. So XRP, and this is the truth because everybody says, buy the dip, hold forever, time in market beats timing market. Bullshit on every single one of those points. Time in market has never been better than timing the market. Now, if you time the entry properly and you want to ride into infinity, but you can't say time in market in a risk asset. Yeah, okay, Bitcoin, you got lucky so far. But if you hold it long enough, you're probably going to be underwater. You know, with any other alt token, if you were just, I'm going to hold it forever, you're getting slaughtered. Especially if you don't know how to read a chart. Because the only time you're going to buy it if you can't read a chart is when it's parabolic. Sorry, that's human anatomy. Nobody buys it when everything looks like shit. They only buy it when it looks like the god. So right now, XRP's down 44%. Yet, so someone's down 44%. Hey, remember, it came down to, it was all the way up at 365, 370. Hey, it was the dip. I'm buying the dip. Right? And I'm not, look. So this is what people did the entire time. Hey, it's down 10% buying the dip. Hey, it's down 20% buying the dip. Hey, it's down 28% buying the dip, right? Well, even if you go from 29% down around $2.60-ish area, 270, okay, you're down 27%. Well, now you're down 25% because you're buying a dip that's not there. There was one chance to buy this, and I told everybody to liquidate days before this happened, and everything had this October 10th flush. That was your chance to buy a dip. The only dip we've had this entire year was October 10th. Now everything that's reemerged, when it came back up here to 275 after that catastrophic drop of 265, none of this is the dip. You understand? None of this is the dip. The only dip now would have to be if you can retest this exhaustion wick. That would be the dip. All of this is bullshit until it breaks out. This is not the dip. It could be an extraordinary point, but the dip was actually this wick. All of this is nothing more than a parabolic spike now, and you're buying the dip. That's not even the dip. Now let me talk lower, see? I got to stay within myself, the new me. We're going to be very passionate, but this is the loud voice. So you're not even buying the dip when you're buying the dip. So now all of a sudden, hey, Tom, I bought the dip. You're down 27%. But everybody literally came on here and said, all these YouTubers, all the social media, all these people, we're not buying, we're watching. They said, don't buy now. And I said, buy that liquidity wick because you can make huge gains right away. And we had some things that pulled up 1x, some things that pulled up 80%, just depending on where you bought it. XRP pulled up 160+%. Then you get rid of it. I told you, once you're off on a buy and sell, it's over. Because once you read the chart wrong, you're always buying it off of emotion and never buying it when it's opportunity. So I would just stop watching everybody who's misled you to this point. And I'm not even saying to watch me. I'm just saying, if you've been misled, stop watching them. If they don't sound like me today with quantitative easing, everybody's busted a nut this morning on their channels, acting like it's a guarantee this morning. I came on here and broke your nut. I busted your balls. You're not making that. You're not making babies today. What you're doing is you're getting in tune with your loved one. You're going to have a central relationship. You're not just going to go for the hit it and quit it moment. That's what they're doing to retail. You think they're going to tell you on the news and the government's going to tell you over and over that we're in a parabolic market and don't buy metals or commodities because it's shit? Remember, Bitcoin was a store of value. It was like digital gold, right? Now it's a store of energy. It's like digital energy. You're buying energy consumption. But then they won't even tell you that that's useless because in order to use a lot of this energy, you have to buy carbon taxes so you can use carbon. Oh, it's all a bunch of bullshit when you actually learn about all of this. Oh, the more you know, the better you're going to get. That's why when I come on here and I'm Mr. Up, it's over, or it can't go this way, because it can't. I hate knowing all of this, and I love knowing all of this. Once you see clearly, you can't see distorted. So like when you're in my audience, you're going to have to see clearly. Now, if you come in with the distortion, it takes about 6 months to rub out the rust. But think about it. If I was trained in something, it's going to take me a good 6 months to retrain myself. So you need to retrain yourself. You need to retrain yourself. And what else happened today? An ETF was launched. Okay, it's been staring at you in the face this entire time. I've had it on the screen for a very long time, over and over. What happens when ETFs come into play for XRP? Money comes out of the crypto market and by virtue goes in the stock market. And they're touting, ready? 21 Shares launched the TOXR ETF on CBOE, offering exposure to XRP with 100 million XRP valued at 226 million. This follows regulated clarity on XRP transactions. There's another $250 million that's left the crypto market in XRP. Anybody depending on a 4-year cycle, how can you depend on a cycle if you're not paying attention to the cycle? What have the altcoins done to tell you we're on a 4? If you're talking about a Bitcoin cycle, okay. But the altcoins are still in accumulation. They never came out of it except for XRP and a couple others. But that could have just been a false, like I said, XRP's the deceiver this cycle. I've said it since January. How many times have I got criticized by my audience for saying XRP's a deceiver coin this cycle? I said it a billion times. That's because it went up when most of the other altcoins didn't and gave you false hope that everything else was going to go up the same way. It's the deceiver, and then it's coming down. For anybody who's new, I'm not just talking out my ass. I actually gave a warning 1 year ago, almost to the day. And I talked about why I sold 75% of my crypto. And the only thing I had left from that, I bought $5,000 of XRP in 2024 for the new ones at 38 cents when we got that last drop down. And I encouraged the audience to do it too. I did it through the XRP Bitcoin pairing because it was such a good deal. And I ended up selling it out by XRP plus 3, plus 330, plus 340. So that turned into a $5,000 investment turned into close to 40, maybe more. And then I still have 34-cent XRP because I don't want to sell it. I have no reason to. Unless it comes down and proves me it's going to cut in half from $1. And then that I can just buy that many more shares and just double my holdings real quick. Then I'm okay. Or if it shows me that this pattern is actually done, then I'm okay. So I did do that. And I didn't buy any gold and silver. You'll have to watch the videos because I already had precious metals. I didn't buy any precious metals over 2,000 in gold or over 27 in silver. Not because I didn't believe in it, but because in January I turned my focus this year in particular to mining stocks. And they have done unbelievable. Something like to the tune of, and I'm going to have a lot of taxes I owe this year. I'm going to owe like 40 or 50,000 in tax. It's scary. When you think about between crypto and this. But miners are up right now. If you include what it's up, you're talking about just in the mining sector since January, you're talking a cool 56,000 roughly. The miners are up right now. So that's not, and that was all built through our XRP holdings.
This evening's live. I first want to start.
That was all built through our holdings from crypto. All I do is I buy cycles before they pop. And then when everybody's bitching and pissing and moaning and buying the top and not listening to me, even though I'm 4.5 years into this, almost 5 now, and I've not only predicted the bottom of 21, the top of 21, or the market rally of 21, the breakdown before it happened in 21 to sell us out. I predicted the bottom of 23, predicted the top in 25, but not just that, I've also gotten you in market cycle bottoms in precious metals, in mining stocks and emerging markets at the same time. I'm trying to build you a real portfolio here, not bullshit like everybody else wants you to have. Notice I don't come on and say I'm sponsored by Dick Yang and whacking along and dick and chains or swat squats for your balls, whatever they promote all the time now, and it drives me nuts. Notice you don't hear any promotions here because this is real information. You notice how you're here with the live and there's no ads? Because I turn them off while the live is on itself. I turn it on after the live so that YouTube will promote it in some ways by having ads on. So another reason for you to watch this during the lives. Everybody says rip the XRP Band-Aid. You guys, if you're talking to me or talking to somebody else, I've ripped the Band-Aid, so to say, and I've taken so many profits from XRP and just rebought back in cheap and been able to take that now, and I have everything you see in precious metals, everything you see in emerging markets, every other crypto that I can own if I buy back, and the lengths I can do. That's all because of XRP, what it has made for me. And then it compounded into other things. Oh, I'm smart enough to know that. I make enough money on what I do on YouTube by the generous members of Tom's Army and the ones who do daily paid subscriptions, or the monthly subscriptions, or anybody who's ever sent a YouTube super chat or gifted a sub or sent something to my PayPal or Venmo, which somebody sent $5 was the first time in like 3 months somebody sent something, or 2 months, which was nice. But I think it's better to not make a few dollars on the ads during the live itself, because it ruins the information. Like, think about trying to watch something and now you've got a fucking 45-second, and they can be up to 2 to 3 minutes now straight. So now you're watching me do an hour live and you got a 3-minute ad. So, and everybody told me XRP was going to be at a certain price a couple years ago. I'm going to tell you, I said I'm not going to cut my hair until XRP even hits, a certain level. And I said $10 because everybody said, oh, XRP is going to be 1,000 and all this. For God's sake, can XRP already make a move? Look at me. This is how long it's been. Everybody keeps telling me that, oh, you'll be able to cut your hair next week, next month. It's been almost 3 years. Look at this. This is the point. I told everybody I wouldn't cut my hair until XRP got to where everybody said, oh my God. Lord have mercy. Crypto's going to be the way. I can't even afford a haircut now. Look at this. He's right. I need to turn the ads on. Looks very shiny, though. Nice looking hair today, I'll admit. My mom says it freaks her out because I look like, my hair's like my sister's and stuff now. But yeah, that's what's going on. Don't be a Sharon Moore. Don't be a cheater. Don't be a scumbag. But look at that. Maybe I should just keep my hair out like this during the lives. How does this look? Huh? That's why when people say you cut your hair, no, I did not cut my hair. I did something else. I've done something else entirely. Children run away. Holy shit. The Buckeye. Oh, he must be gloating over what happened with... No, he didn't want Sharon Moore fired. If I was a Buckeye fan, I would have wanted that guy coaching Michigan. I know he got a lucky win last year, but I've already said that's because Ohio State let him win, because they didn't want to play Oregon in the Big Ten championship because they knew they were going to beat the shit out of them in the playoffs. So why expose themselves to their strategy? Plus, they wanted Sharon Moore back, so they just let him win. Man, my hair is so long. It really is now that I look at it. Jesus. Can't even show you guys how long it is. It goes past the picture frame. I am David Schwartz. Look at this. I've officially turned into David Schwartz. By talking about XRP for 5 years almost, every single day since March 24th of 21, I've turned into David Schwartz. Look at this. People were right. I am David Schwartz. It's just my hair wasn't long enough to make it look like it. Jesus Lord. You look like you listen to Black Sabbath and Led Zeppelin. I do love Led Zeppelin, I must admit. But let's get back to 1970 Legend. A very trusted mod in here and in the Telegram. And in Tom's Army for over 1 year. He's our Buckeye down south. We have a very good bond, believe it or not, a Wolverine and a Buckeye. I think he's just sending me donations because he knows eventually I'm going to have to buy him possibly the back-to-back title belts. Because I have my belts, but if they win 2 in a row, it's going to supersede my championship belt. So he's just getting it ready. But $99.99 donation, my friend. Merry Christmas to you, all jokes aside. And I can't thank you enough for that. Seriously, go Bucks. Yeah, we're probably starting a new fucking 13 out of 15 year streak or some BS where we got lucky one year and then we're going to lose the next 12. So I appreciate you. And like we talked about with XDC, like there was a moment of opportunity there where it had a nice little surge up, but it can't run on its own. But this is what can keep it into this line of consolidation. But I've already said what I want from XDC. I really want it to break 4.7. I know some people get mad at me when I say it, but I want it to come all the way down to that 2.8 cents. Is it going to happen? Who knows? Do I want it to happen? You better believe it. If it goes down there, Lord have mercy. Some people are coming on and saying, who's this guy? Where's Tom? Who's that guy? What's that cartoon that was on TV during the Flintstones era when they had all their like hair over their faces? Captain Caveman? Captain Caveman. That's what I remind myself of right now. I'm Captain Caveman. I'm always like, Julie, I know I'm going to be 42 on the 17th, but is my hair going away yet? And she's like, no, it is not going away. I can promise you that. Not yet. No, I won't. I've made money on XRP now. I'm focused on non-inflationary low-max supply multi-chain blue chip utility tokens. Ooh, my man. My guy. My guy. It's going to be one of these days. Guys, remember when there's red and everybody is all about all in, all in, all in? We're just looking for the appropriate dip. We know that the rising wedge breakdown, and with how bearish this is if it breaks down, but we haven't done it yet, remember? We talked about it yesterday, and here we are again, folks. Now, remember what we talked about yesterday when we held. If we just come up to here and retest this FVG as resistance all the way at the top, and we just come up, just to come back down and hit the 200-day, that's going to give us the added ability to break through this and come right down quickly. This was like the worst case scenario, what it did if you want this to hold structure. Once you get into that red circle, that's like a liquidity siphon. Once you get into that red circle, you're going to siphon down very quickly. So just pay attention to this setup. We gave ourselves a stronger ability to come down with that rejection today. We're going into a thinly traded weekend. Let's see what gold and silver's doing. See that? We talked about the quick reversal across the board. Hey, at least I didn't lie about it this morning. So we'll see how this plays out. Because this wasn't just for crypto. This was every single market right now. Could legitimately get caught up in a hamstrung moment here. So look at the Dow down once. I told you, QE is not the answer. It never was, it never will be, and it never has been. Now, some of these are just having a nice back test too, so we'll see if we fully break down in commodities. But these are good moments for commodities at least, because you want to cool down a little bit, retest, back test, and then do what you got to do. For crypto, on the other hand, it's a completely different story. We need to hold this. See, we held 89,757 initially, but we're just back testing every further drop. So this is going to get very nightmarish in a minute if this continues. Hour and 10 minutes now. I'm enjoying this in real time. They haven't come with my appliances yet. I'm going to put this back on so I can see. The main reason I put this back on is so I stop playing with my hair. And I'm going to be 42 on the 17th. I keep saying I'm 42, but I'm actually 41. I turned 42 on the 17th of this month. And my hair is not... I've never not cut my hair, not even close to this long. I haven't cut my hair since I broke the bones in my hand and I had that orbital bone. And when I got cut off by a car when I was on my electric bike that I've never rode since. But that was back in July of 23. That's my last haircut was like July 7th of 2023. So 24, 25. Yeah, we're about 2.5 years in now. Easy. Wow. Now we're going to see is Bitcoin rejecting at 90,000 and is XRP not going to be able to get back over $2? This would be your first very bad sign here this morning. As far as a quick drop could happen. I'm anticipating. I'm just eagerly awaiting what's coming next. I don't have any emotion. I don't have any prejudice. I've got capital in case it works out our way. A lot of capital, in fact. We'll see what happens. Ethereum's now down better than 5%. Seems like everything's going exactly like we thought it would. The total down 2.68, total 3 down 1.39, losing better than 12.2 billion. The total is down 83.19 billion. Others has lost 2.27% or down 4.79 billion. So we're starting to trend down these slippery slopes here. So I would still pay very close attention to gold, silver, and commodities and just see what that does here. We needed a dump down. And remember, silver's, like, think about this. This big dump down by silver of almost $2 or 2.7. We're at $61.80. That's the creepy part. Gold dumps down and drops like 60, 70, like almost like $100 right there in a matter of moments. It's at 42.83. It's crazy. It's crazy. I know Hekla's down 3.25%, but it went above $20 this morning. So, I mean, you've had big pullbacks, but it's kind of being hidden in the price. Fortuna was over $10. So, yeah, it says it's down 1.12, but we had bigger drops than that. So, this is kind of cushioning the fall a little bit, but at the same time, they really did this. I mean, look at this. If you have to ask yourself one reason why you want to be here, if it was so unpredictable, how did not just myself, how did so many like Crude and others in chat that are talking to all of you? Okay, all you people that say XRP will never hit $200 per coin, make sure you're in here next year. Can I be honest with everybody? One of the main things that I read with comments, and this is not being mean, when I read comments from a lot of people that talk about pricing, and not Lonzo, he's been in here a long time, I know his story, but like there's a lot of people that I just see comments randomly, or I see them over and over, where, do you realize a lot of the things that you talk about, like for utility and all this stuff for adoption for XRP, the stuff that's happening now, every single token on my list does that. That's not what separates XRP. In fact, XRP is not even ISO compliant in itself. I know it's a shocker. It's able to use the HTML framework, but it's got other things that make it more universal than just an ISO. And think about all these people that come on and say the multiplier. All these influencers. Oh, we have a multiplier. That's going to be. Or all these. There's just so many different stupid things that I see all the time. You know, and that's the easiest way to just get trapped in all the nonsense. If you don't understand, no matter what some idiot says, you're going to believe them because you don't know. And they're actually committing a sin. Most of these people you guys talk about in the chats are sinning. It's a sin to mislead somebody when you have the knowledge and they don't, and you misrepresent what's going on to make money off of them. That's a sin. You're not supposed to lead the innocent astray. Just like you're not supposed to take the innocence. And that doesn't just mean in a sexual way, in an emotional way, in a physical way, in a personal well-being. That means in anything. If you take somebody's innocence, even if they're the happiest person on the planet, they got this positive aura, And because of you, they now are very anxiety filled. They're afraid to leave their house. They don't want to go to school or work. You've stolen their innocence. That's a sin. That's the ultimate sin. That's worse than even killing somebody. Well, I mean, it's not worse, but maybe to them, because their spirit now is forever tainted until they can find themselves. It's the same thing in crypto. To steal somebody's innocence with their most precious, fundamental form of living, which is their finance, and to lie to people over and over and over, to the point these people have, like, think about it. They're all laughing to the bank while their constituents who trust them, their own audience, they're leeching their money. They're nothing more than bloodsuckers. Got to get away from those people. No, I know, Crude. I know. John Bugathorpe, thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 1 year at the I Told You So Bad. Says, killing innocents and driving fear horrible. Yes, as in what the climate. That is very true. What would Jesus do? Amen. See, spirituality has found its way in here. So Yahweh and Yahshua is looking over us today. And for people who don't know, when I say what that is, who Yahweh or Yahshua is, that's Jesus Christ. We just call him Jesus Christ in the U.S. But it's Yahweh, Yahshua, depending on how. So, and God's become present in our speakings right now. So we're getting higher guidance here, which is what we need. Yep. I mean, it's simple as that. Now, I worry about the short-term pricing and the long-term pricing all at once because I like to put out good content to where you can get a micro and macro feel. But I don't sugarcoat it. So it takes a long time for people to get used to what I do. In fact, some people never stay. But you know what? That's okay. You know what's in... we have 48,100 subscribers, which I think is a small miracle. Wouldn't we all agree? Agony, trust me, as somebody who's lost thousands and thousands of subscribers because I don't say XRP is going to 1,000 and I talk realistically, I've lost countless people from staying in tune, from staying on the channel. So that's just the way it goes. I would rather have less audience, less reach, and less viewership, but have the proper viewership and know at the end of the day that I'm clean. I'm not stealing from nobody. This is my historical data. I've never misled anybody. Now there's a bunch of people that want me to teach them more than I can do in this kind of a setting, which is fine. And it's taken me 4.5 years, almost 5 years to come to the conclusion that it's worth my time and it's worth everybody else's time who wants to be a part of it to actually take this a step deeper. What a miracle, sitting in the bush this morning. The sun was shining just right. Excellent. That is awesome. That's a beautiful thing. That's a beautiful thing. So if you're in the Telegram before I leave too, Define set up a great section, and I'll start talking in this section the more people do, just about who wants to be in. And we're going to, I'll send you a sign up or whenever or excellent, not TA. But we're going to do, it's going to be very slow paced too. So like, if you really want to learn and you want to be as smart as the weakest link, you're going to be smarter than the strongest person by the end. Because if you can acknowledge you know nothing, you know everything. It's that simple motto. Just like in here, I don't know anything. That's why I always say, I don't know. What do I know? I'm open to know more. I might know a lot, but I know nothing, which means I can know everything. If I come on here and say I know a lot, I know everything, I'll know nothing because I can't advance anything. And then I'm so self up my own ass that I don't know what's right. You don't want to be righteous by being a dick. You know, so I don't know anything. That's why I'm open to interpretation. That's why when somebody says something, even if I know it, I act like I don't. I hear them out and then we can have a back and forth. Every recent run-up that we've had in the past few months was a multiplier aspect from influence to market cap. That's been exposed consistently. That in the past few months was a multiplier aspect from influence. I mean, if you want to call it a multiplier, that's fine. I just call it trading algorithm. It went up because the trading bot sensed liquidity. It went up. Had nothing to do with influence. Never does. Unless it's a smaller traded token that can actually move. But like, does anybody pay attention to all the outflows that actually happen in crypto that end up into the ETFs? I don't know. I just don't buy into the multiplier theory. I just never have. The price action's doing what it's gonna do. I just paid way more attention than 99% of you all do. All I do is drive a truck and pay attention to crypto. I love it, Lonzo. I would say there's not a single person who pays attention more than me, to be honest with you. Seeing that every day for almost 5 years now, this is all I've done. Come on here and made 6,000. Just doing all of this force you to be in tune. I would also say it's great to look at crypto, but you've got to look at more than just one crypto. You've got to look at it from every single angle. You've got to look at what the emerging markets, the precious metals, the mining stocks, the gold and silver, all this stuff plays in one. Even the Forex markets with money that finds its way into it. You have to find where all the collateral is going. It's not a zero-sum game just by saying, I watch crypto, so I know everything, or I know more than that. You don't know more than 99%, I promise you that. By you saying that, you've allowed yourself to know only 1% of the info out there. That's not a good place to be. I don't even know more than 99%. Even if I say I think I know more than most, or I know more than many, or I should have, I still don't know the most. I still have a lot of room for improvement. 99% is you're putting yourself way up there. Give yourself more credit. You've got room for improvement even if you know a lot. There's so much more to learn. Give yourself the ability to learn more than just the 1% you think that they only know more than you. I can promise you, there's a lot more than even we know that we're told. A lot more. That's why I crave this every single day, and I come on here with the mindset of I haven't learned shit yet. But I will. I like where we're at, though. I think we're at that inflection point right now. Where we're going to get the real market driver, and then we're going to finally be able to figure this out. Oh, crude would be phenomenal, Mrs. Stott. Honestly, yes. We find different people in different strokes for different folks, let's say. Hey, crude. I'm going to share this email address. It's going to say Juju Fish because that's my significant other, Julie. But I'm on my tablet, but I go through her, it's linked up to her stuff because my son uses it. But I'm going to send you an email address. If you're interested, every now and then I find people of value and I will ask them if they want to. And I'm not saying you got to join Tom's. No, sometimes I extend the, so I think you could add value. So there's Juju Fish. That's me who shared that. If you want to send me an email, I'll send you a link to the Telegram and then you can kind of see what we're all about. And I think you'd be an invaluable part of this community. You can never say with 100% that it's not going to be 1,000, but I find it very hard to believe we're ever going to get those prices. Just being honest. It's not even in my stratosphere. I don't think XRP is going to get there. I've said it a million times. I hope it does. We'll be very wealthy if it does. The Samuel Banner cycle chart. That does not actually ring a bell. Ripple Bank approved. Ooh. Could this be a catalyst? Could this be a market catalyst to drive up? We're looking for catalysts. This could be a good thing. Perfect timing. We're right on the support structure. What is that on X? This could be good news. Brad. We're always looking for up to the minute, up to the date things that happen. This is good. Three minutes ago, huge news. Ripple just received conditional approval for the U.S. OCC to charter Ripple National Trust Bank. This is a massive step forward, first for RLUSD, setting the highest standard for stablecoin compliance with both federal OCC hopefully that brings some injection here. This is either gonna inject the price right now and people are gonna get very happy for a minute, or because it's related to RLUSD, it's not gonna move the needle. It's interesting timing of this tweet and this announcement, because this could move it back in the positive direction, no doubt. We're right on the support right now, the overextension down, so this would be where you should get a move back up to like 210 possibly to retest the breakdown if it holds. And the other part about this is, if we're against regulations, I mean, this could move the needle though to get a little bit of price action here back up to like 210 if it actually pushes. Because when stuff like this comes out, generally, it has a very quick reaction for the market. We'll see if we get any kind of real capital flow because of this. Because it could. You could get a sudden reversal here. We really could. This is a good step. This is a good step. Could this be the catalyst that shifts the crypto market now? Let's see what gold and silver is doing. It didn't give it back. It's starting to rise back up on gold. Shit. We're trying to find something that can sway this. It is very unique timing here, but we'll see how this actually plays through here, because this could give us that run here a little bit. Let's just see. Oh, I love it, Lonzo. I see what you did there. That's why I said 99% confidence you are one of them ones. Touche, Mr. Lonzo. Touche. Hey, if anything, it gives a little excitement on this Friday, right? Now, what would really piss... Now, if this dumps right now, I guarantee you everybody's going to say XRP is the biggest pile of shit. Actually, if it dumps here, this would be a great sign, because now everybody's going to be like, we got this news. It should have pumped. It is a pile of shit. I'm selling it. It's never going to go up. That could lead to a... Oh, that would be interesting if that happened, because you know a bunch of people are taking leverage out right now once they seen that. Guarantee it. Probably 20% of this viewing audience went and took out some leverage. Oh, where did I post the email? Sorry, I posted it on here. I'll do it again on in the YouTube chat, my friend. I'm gonna pull up my file so that you can see it's me. I'm gonna pull up the live while I'm still here. I know we're overextended right now, but hey, a lot of stuff is happening, right? What, I'm not allowed to open up my own live? Ah, there we go. Okay. Finally, jeez. But my email is going to be different when it comes to my classes, everybody. So this email is going to be irrelevant. Except for YouTube. But yeah, right here, crude. where I posted where it says XRP Future Millionaire, it says strutregali@gmail.com. Awesome, Crude. Awesome. For the sake of XRP in this moment, it really can't. For this moment in time, because of all the people that are, I think a bunch of people just started trading. They probably opened up something. And it does open up the optic where maybe it would come. I don't know, but this would be that moment where a lot of people, maybe this is going to be that added liquidity for, you know how they need sellers? You know how when it's about to drop, the big people need you to sell or need people to buy so they can sell into it? Would this be a strategic way to release the news as we're dumping so that the bigger holders could sell into people buying in? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But I will tell you, we're going to find out very quickly. We'll see how this news is perceived across the country and in the trading sphere. Man, this is going to be fucking crazy. If this doesn't pull back right now, this would be crazy. At least Bitcoin right now, 89,007 something held up for that bounce so far. I feel like I'm watching like a horror movie right now. One must admit, though, it is unique timing with what Brad Garlinghouse just said. If you're just tuning in, Brad Garlinghouse just came out about, 10 minutes ago or so, 9 minutes ago, and says, huge news. Ripple just received conditional approval from the U.S. OCC to charter Ripple National Trust Bank. This is a massive step forward, first for RLUSD, setting the highest standard for stablecoin compliance with both federal and state oversight. Huge regulations coming to the XRP ledger, it sounds like. So if you're on the ledger, it's not going to be so easy to move stuff soon. Just an FYI. There's huge regulations coming on the Ripple side. And then I like the Ripple XRP breakthrough in Europe. Amina Bank is the first bank to integrate Ripple payments. Some news there as well. So to the banking lobbyists, your anti-competitive tactics are transparent. You've complained that crypto isn't playing by the same rules, but here's the crypto industry. Directly under the OCC supervision and standards, prioritizing compliance, trust, and innovation to the benefit of consumers. What are you so afraid of? Well, Brad Garlinghouse is controlled opposition, and he actually is intertwined with the central banks, the Freemasonry, and the U.S. Fed, but nobody wants to hear about that. Let's see. Why are these big news not impacting the market directly? I'm drowning in my patience, Mr. Brad. See the comments? Oh, I guess the price is about to plummet. RUSD becomes the first stablecoin issued under National Bank Charter and direct supervision of the OCC. So, so we'll see. I know everybody's expecting it to go up 500% right now, but that's just not the way it works. I told you, the charts predict the news, not the other way around. So, good timing for the news, for sure. But I still feel that with news like this, don't you think the timing of the news when it looks like a predictable dump across the board in crypto, that the bigger fish are going to need someone to buy so they can sell it to without it crashing even faster? This seems like a liquidity grab from retail. No institution's buying on that news. They would have already known the news. It could, man. There's no doubt about that. Oh, that crew, they absolutely knew the news. 100%. 100%. Look, ready? Here's the breaking news. While all this shit in the economy is going on, this is how they twist your minds. Ready? This is the simpleton, what they're going to follow today. Not about what's going on with the Fed. The simpleton have no idea about QE. They don't even understand gold and silver, that's actually money and the dollar's a unit of debt. These douchebag and morons, this is what the tools are going to talk about today. I'm sorry if you're one of them. Breaking news. New Epstein photo release includes Trump, Clinton, Gates, and more. There's your talking point of the day. Okay? So they're going to keep you off the sun of what's real today for some propagandist bullshit that impacts us zero, that you have no control over in the least. So while you beg the government for help and then bash them at the same time, you know, that's what everybody's going to do. So now while all this is happening, hey, did you see a Trump? No. They've been fighting for the last 15 years and won't shut the hell up about it. Like, over the last 15 years, what have you accomplished? You've been complaining about useless bullshit for 15 years. Give it a rest. You're so stupid already. That's how I feel when I look at it. I can't even look at social media. But if you're in a power position, you obviously have to go through rituals. If you're a famous athlete at the highest level, you have to go through rituals. You really thought it was by skill? It's the same thing as every douchebag that's on Facebook and on social media that has big muscles, that cheats, and everybody looks at them like they're a god and they say, they got these great genetics. That's, even without the steroids, they would still look like, okay, well, if it was that true and it was all about the diet and the weightlifting, you wouldn't be taking the anabolics, friends. It's no different in any other aspect. So I always hate when people make excuses for everybody else. That's one that really pisses me off. As somebody who works out every, 5 days a week minimum and has built nice muscle tone now and chains of all of that. Seeing people that cheat the system and they always get ahead initially. Look at Mike O'Hearn, the fakest guy. He doesn't even have a real chin, nose, cheeks, but he wants you to believe he's not using steroids. Like, come on now. And people respect him. And the thing is this is why I hate people like this. Because now they sell supplements. They sell you fake shit that could never make you look better and it kills you. They're making blood money when they're cheating. And they're going to be dead anyhow soon. You don't want to be like that. That goes everywhere. It's everywhere. You want to get ahead and it cut off your lifespan, go ahead. But everything comes with a price. Every cheat has a consequence. When you're cheating your body, the consequence is death. Oh, crew, no, I was going to send you a link. If you join and one day you're like, you know what? I appreciate this community. I appreciate what Tom's doing, and I feel like it's worth it. If you want to be generous and you want to pay it forward, you can always go on YouTube and join Tom's Army. That's how most people usually get the Telegram. Some people are in there without it, though. There's always an exception to the rule. You said you sent it, but it's not showing me. I don't know why. Unless I wrote it down wrong, my email, which is possible. Oh, you sent me your email. Yeah, here, let me. It's strutrugali@gmail.com. It's strutrugali@gmail.com. This would be the literal kick in the dick right now, guys. For most people. If they put out that news and now everybody thinks it's about the pump, but the chart still is a chart. So, I mean, I'm just telling you, this would create a lot of chaos if this dumps down now. A lot of people are going to jump off the bandwagon, which is actually what we need. Ah, see, perfect. Forgot the I. In this case, that's good. We're having a good conversation this morning. Good conversation this morning. I'm really enjoying my time here this morning. I know, hey man. Zill is literally fallen off the cliff. That's why, you know, it's one of those things where I keep saying, like, maybe our 10X is going to come way back farther down. And if you're one of those buy the dip every step of the way and didn't have liquidity on the side, I mean, maybe the dip when it comes back up is just going to be, it's just going to be something deeper. Oh, excellent. I got your, I knew I've heard that name before. The crude coin. Interesting. Anyhow, I'm gonna send you the telegram in your email, and like I said, it's not conditional. You don't just, this is me. I'm trying to grow the understanding of my community with some minds that aren't typical. Like there's different people that have different skills and different abilities and have different understanding and are in different parts. So yeah. I like a lot of the strategy I'm seeing in here. Yeah, we are tokenizing oil on Cardano's Midnight Ledger. Interesting. You're doing tokenized oil. See? We meet people in ways you never thought you would meet just by being open to it. See this? So that's, honestly, we're getting tokenized gold from Peter Schiff to where you can digitize it, sell it from peer to peer. And now you're going to be doing tokenized oil. Or you're doing tokenized oil. That is impressive. I know I've seen your name before. I just couldn't. I don't know if I don't want to say your real name. You sent it to me in the Telegram, but I don't use people's real name unless they tell me I can. Texas Oil, WTI, excellent. Excellent. Well, we already know we're going to be digitized. The robots are coming. They're going to digitize us into a robot form. Holy crap. I haven't been paying attention to the stock market. Do you guys see this? The Nasdaq's down 465 points right now. The S&P's down 90 points and the Dow's down 318. We knew the divergence yesterday when the Dow was up 0.9% and the Nasdaq was down 0.9%. Even though it closed the gap, we knew that divergence wasn't good. I almost think it's hysterical right now that XRP went up like 2.5 cents when they first put that tweet out. Unless it's double bottoming here. But once it breaks this from being in a double bottom, this is just going to drop to $1.85 real quick probably. And retest that area. Yeah, see, listen guys, here's another problem. Remember crypto that was digital? The problem is right now, we want crypto to be our digitized things, but now with everything being able to be tokenized, you're going to have ability to buy anything. That means you're going to be able to buy tokenized Best Buy, tokenized everything. I swear it's almost like the crypto thing was a whole hoax against retail. This year at least. Because they talk about the reserves and all this stuff. And it was almost like it was the trap of all traps. So they would have exit liquidity. It's just, if this falls here, it's a scary proposition. But it hasn't fallen yet, folks. We haven't fallen out yet. But Bitcoin's below that Mendoza line. 89,754 approximately. If it's below that, look out. If it stays below. Ethereum's down 5.6% now at 3,054. You know, you're starting to get some movement. Look at Algo's now down 5.4%. Almost losing the 12-cent handle now. It's starting to move here a little bit beneath our noses. H-bar is down almost 5% to 12.3. I mean, to think algo's cheaper than H-bar is unbelievable. V-chain's down 5%. Band's down almost 5% now. Linea's down almost 2.5%. SHX down better than 4.5%. CRO down under 10 cents or 2.8%. You got Quant up 3.6%. Gold's down 550. Miners are starting to get hammered now, which I mean, with what's happening in this economy now, are we surprised that the miners are starting to take it on the chin here today? I'm not necessarily surprised by that, but they are starting to take it a little bit. But this is going to be one of those, I mean, it's been up so fast, it comes back down. And we'll see where it settles. It's all you can do. All you can do is see where this entire thing settles. So, but right now it's a very, very uneasy market. Look at USDT dominance continues to grow and it's raising out of this cup. And this next area is going to end up being 6.8% roughly. Holy moly. If it breaks 6.8, this is where I fear we're going to come all the way up here and we're going to have an 8% dominance in USDT. If that happens, that would point to this dropping even more. XRP's hanging on here by a thread, but we can give it that. What's XDC doing now below 5 cents, you bitch? Fell right back through. But it can't run on its own. We know this. Even if it had some potential, it just can't run on its own. Nothing can. Canada's podcast said, "Crew, this is all AI." You know what's funny? Everybody who's talking about AI, I agree. Because they keep talking about AI is going to be the new carry trade, and it's going to be the trade. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard by the... AI is so overvalued right now, especially US AI. I encourage you all to take a look at what China and Japan and some of the countries over on that side of the world in Asia have been able to do with AI chips. And the chips and everything. Oh, it might scare the shit out of you to see how far behind we are. Look at LAES. Thank you, friend. Finally starting to reverse back down. Remember what we've been talking about? We could, in fact, get a better deal than we got. I mean, you can ride it up, but you could, in fact, get a better deal down near the dollar level if this actually implodes. Oh, I'm going to be a big buyer of this if it ends up coming down far. Promise you that. Yeah, and the volume, there's no volume right now for in crypto. I can go across the board. Even with those pushes up, I mean, look at the volume. With the two green candles, you had this volume, and now the volume's increasing on the drop. Dropping price, rising volume, recipe for a continuation in the 4-hourly. Now, if the price was crashing, maybe it could reverse. But, I mean, these little bear flags were set across the board. If this gets rejected, I mean, it 11.8 and then down to 10.7. I mean, we're well on our way here. We are well on our way. Just from yesterday, and I kept saying, this is not a trader's market right now. Just let it happen. Even I know rate cuts are coming. And quantitative easing starts tomorrow, we said yesterday. But I said, just let it happen. And this was on Wednesday when we had the rate cut. I said, just let it happen. Now we're buying the news and we're down 13.3%, right? We're buying what's supposed to be good. You can never buy in on green. You have to buy in on big drops. So if we get a 20% drop, you should feel good about buying in, especially if you're thinking about buying now. You know, but nobody says we're going to drop that way. It's just, that's what it's lining up for if it happens. We looked at XRPL, but major players are building on the chain, so we decided to work with Charles, but the first to tokenize oil on Cardano. I love it. That might give me another reason to invest in ADA now because of you, if it comes down to a certain level. Yep, this is very typical, Max. And we've been in a bear market for quite some time now. And a lot of things, the bear market started in January. And the reemergence of the bear market. For XRP, sometime after July, the bear market started back up, I believe it was. After a rally back up. Oh, there's always rallies on the way down. So let's just say we get to $1.85 and it's not meant to be the floor. It'll go from $1.85 and probably try to retest this $1.98 zone with some veracity. Or maybe it goes to $1.77 to $1.82 and tests this zone again on the way back down farther. Yeah, I have no complaints about ADA as a whole. I just didn't like Charles Hawkinson back in the day. Because he was a little bit... he almost came off self-righteous, but when you look a little bit deeper, you can kind of understand why he wouldn't have backed XRP during the lawsuit. When you start seeing the things that were said towards him, if you want to be non-biased. So, I like how he kind of backtracked, so to say, when it came to Ripple and things like that. But he showed more humility. He showed more humility in the recent years than he did in the beginning. Like, I think it all got to him for a minute, but now he's showing his true character in a way. Not saying he's bowing down, but what he's doing is he's trying to make it, I don't know what the right word is, but yeah, ADA if you're buying. None of these utility tokens, unless you are convinced that you can find it cheaper. But most people who are buying and selling, I hate to break it to you guys, the strategy is you're buying and you're trying to buy an action moment. And then, like, if it doesn't work because it's not the bottom of where we think could be a perceived reversal, then you sell it and it might be a minor loss of a few dollars, but you're not typically having large gains when you're buying and selling. So it's always at a loss and then you get more tokens when it goes farther down, even if you lost a little bit of money. And then in the end, you'll make a lot more. So a lot of times it's not about staying green. You might even be down 2 or 3% from your portfolio, but you've been able to increase your holdings. Let's just say you had 10,000 XRP. Maybe you've dropped 2% in portfolio value of XRP, but it has a drop to where all of a sudden now you have 13,000 tokens, but your portfolio is 2% less. Well, you're going to be in the drop either way. So... Yep, that's usually the way it works. That's usually the way it works. Money talks. Money certainly talks. It can change the perception of anybody, can it? But I'm going to go, everybody. I got to get this stuff ready. This company's going to be here in the next... Well, they could be here any time, but they're already halfway through their window. I got to get something to eat. I haven't eaten since 8 o'clock last night, as I've intermittent fast every single day for the last 3 years now, believe it or not. So I only eat 8 hours a day, and my window's opening in 8 minutes. So I did some good weightlifting. I did some good cardio so far this morning. So I want to eat my protein. And, well, I make it myself. I have unflavored, unscented whey protein, but it's not the bullshit that has all this nonsense in it. It's got 2 ingredients. And then I put a little bit of peanut butter powder in there. That's probably another 100, 120 calories. Add some more substance. And then I like collagen peptides. Certain ones. They have to be a certain one. But that's also for a recovery thing. So. But yeah. That's about it today, everybody. Wow, 3 years for you too, Mr. Wiseman. I commend you. I commend you. But now pay attention. This is the time of the day now that we're getting towards noon. If any kind of reversal is going to happen, XRP needs to come back up and retake $2. And Bitcoin needs to stay on top of, and we're on top of it right now, 89,754 roughly. Otherwise, if this is a bear flag finishing out, I mean, this would constitute a drop down to $1.85 for XRP. I don't see any reason why not, unless we can retake this. So hopefully we'll reconvene later. The ones in the Telegram, hopefully I'll see all of you there. And then Crude, good luck at the gym, and I hope to get to know you more. I would say your name. I can just say he shares the same name as one of the Trumps. Not Donald Trump, but a different Trump. So I'll leave that for the imagination. Yeah. other than that, I'm blessed to have all of you. There's a lot of information about who I am, what I do, and the way I approach things. Just take a look.